Hey guys, what's up? We're back with some more reactions after dark, and of course we're going to be watching slash reacting to disturbing things I found on the internet. Volume 12. I'm just making sure I wrote that up there correctly. By, obviously, Lazy Masquerade. Last time, obviously, we watched Crowley stuff, which I said before. We're going to be bouncing back and forth between Crowley and Lazy Masquerade until I find something else to watch during this. So if you have any suggestions, again, stuff that fits the theme after dark, dark stuff, scary stuff, horror stuff. So videos like this, compilation videos like this, maybe even Nuke Top 5, stuff like that, even though that's kind of cringe. But as my model gets stuck in a cringe face that I wasn't trying to do. Okay, there. Yeah, stuff like that. SCP stuff, short horror films maybe, etc., etc. Let me know if there's anything like that you want to see. Now, disclaimer, the first 5 minutes of this video I've already seen because OBS crashed, and I was like, let me just start over. Since the audio wasn't being captured anymore, I don't think so. I had to restart OBS, which we didn't really miss anything, to be honest. There's also this whole section, which you can't see. The first minute and 45 minutes is just ad. So I don't know if we should skip that. I don't typically skip it, but maybe because, again, I've already sat through it once. If I have to sit through it a second time, it's going to be kind of brutal. Which looks like you're not getting audio, so let me go ahead and fix that. That was my bad, I forgot to add the opera audio. Add it to, what you call it?
Today, we're going over another collection of unsettling internet oddities that
Oh, whoops, actually I screwed up. I turned me down and turned the audio for opera max out. Whoops. Hopefully that wasn't too bad. Yeah, I'm using Opera now instead of Edge, because I'm just testing to see if it works better, if it runs better. Again, I don't know if we want to just skip this.
have been on my mind recently. But before we get into them, a quick word from today's sponsor.
Yeah, it's going to be Raycon.
Well guys, it's that time of year when romance is in the air. And if there's one love language that we all share...
When was this? 3 months ago? Was that February? It must have been, right, if we're talking about that.
Go to buyraycon.com/masquerade to get up to 20% off site-wide. That's right, you'll get up to 20% off everything on Raycon's website, including...
Again, we're just skipping straight to this description here, since, again, I've already watched it once. I feel like watching it twice. Come on, I've already watched it once. Masquerade. Come on, cut me some slack. OBS crashed. It happened.
20% off all headphones too, when you go to buyraycon.com/masquerade.
Jesse Nemayapol.
This strange and unsettling rabbit hole was first uncovered by
A strange missing person listing plus internet rabbit hole Jesse Nemayapol. Maybe we should just read this. Oops. I think he's breaking. Like, maybe I should just read some of this. I was browsing the excellent Iowa Cold Cases site, as one does, when this one caught my eye. Jesse Govani Nimapol, as it's spelled in official documents, I think it's likely Nemayapol, was last seen July 14th, 2017 in Denison, Iowa. He was 18 at the time. No other circumstances for his disappearance are given. However, a couple of things stand out about his case. First, he's classified in the Ohio Missing Persons database as an involuntary disappearance, which he's going to get to because, again, I've already seen like the first 5 minutes. That's a strange thing to say when no other details are available. Authorities simply don't know where someone went. It's usually endangered missing, right? Second, Jesse has a lot of aliases. Anonymous lists, Juan Carlos, Samay, blah, 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 a bunch of aliases. He will get into that later. There are other things on the ICC site. What is an 18-year-old doing with that many names? When you start to Google, things really get odd. Jesse hasn't been seen since 2017, but there are Twitter and YouTube accounts in his name that have been created since then. I won't link to these personal pages, but you can find the YouTube link in the comments on Iowa cold cases and the Twitter page by searching Nemayapol. I should note that Nemaya is in a really unusual name. Searching online, I only found a handful of people with any variation of this surname. All of them Guatemalan. Denison is a meatpacking town in western Iowa with a substantial population of Central American immigrants. What I mean is that I am pretty sure the social media accounts belong to Jesse or someone who knows him.
A Reddit user, Tawny Frogmouth, who wrote up their findings on the Unsolved Mysteries subreddit. On July 14th, 2017, 18-year-old Jesse Govani Nemajapol disappeared from Denison, Iowa. But what makes his case particularly eerie is the lack of information available. No major headlines, no investigative reports, just the bare bones of an unresolved case that
I talked about the same time in the thing we just lost. He says bare bones and thus puts in his stock image B-roll of a skeleton. Like, really? You say the phrase for bare bones and you put a skeleton on the screen?
remains largely in the shadows. All we know is what the National Missing and Unidentified Persons System tells us about him. That he has black hair and brown eyes. That he's 5'5" and weighed between 130 and 135 pounds at the time.
Yeah, because he's young, but he's pretty short. So, oof there. Doesn't weigh too much either, but we'll come to that later.
Of his disappearance. But a deeper look into his case file on Namus reveals some truly unusual details. First and foremost, Jesse's case is classified as an involuntary disappearance.
Yeah, which is in that thing we just read, which I was saying, and the stuff that got cut, that sounds like that means he was kidnapped or taken, obviously against his will, because it's involuntary disappearance, not like they disappeared on their own. They had no say in disappearing, which is completely different than just disappearing. Or choosing to disappear.
Typically, missing persons are categorized as endangered missing, which is a broad classification and covers various circumstances. But an involuntary disappearance, that term is typically reserved for cases where someone's been taken against their will and where foul play is heavily suspected. So why was Jesse's case given this rare designation? Did law enforcement have information that they never made public? Another anomaly is Jesse's long list of aliases. Browsing through various databases, his known names include Juan Carlos Sime Nimaja, Daryl Jamal Brown, Ronaldo Alterio Colon, and Adexe Nemajapol, among others.
And there's all the aliases.
The final anomaly, as you've probably gathered, is his missing person photo. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm 100% certain that that is not an 18-year-old.
Yeah, again, the bags, I mean, the cheekbones, not necessarily bag, the cheekbones here, the hairline-ish, etc., etc. So this is where, I mean, like, we'll get to the fact that he's, like, short and doesn't weigh much. But, like, because it doesn't really matter, because this possibly isn't an 18-year-old, this is someone else, so who knows what or who this is.
To my eyes, it appears to be someone significantly older, maybe even in their mid-30s, using makeup or filters to appear younger. It's such an odd photo, considering the information released, and it's the only one used to depict him on official missing person databases. Strangely, Jesse did once have a page on the Iowa Missing Persons database, one which has since been removed without explanation. All of these details suggest that Jesse's story is far more complex than it appears at first glance. Here's where things take an even darker turn. Despite being officially listed as missing, Jesse's social media accounts remained active well after his disappearance. Sleuths have since found a LinkedIn page and a VK profile under.
Yeah, I have no clue what VK is. We have a bunch of like censored photos that he's not showing. And this is like such a barebone UI. I mean, it looks like Facebook, but it's even more bare bones than that.
His name, featuring pictures of what appears to be the same man in inappropriate poses. But 3 other accounts in particular stand out. First, a now defunct Twitter account, created in 2018, a full year after Jesse supposedly vanished. The bio originally read, Soy un niño modelo, bailarín y cantante. Tengo 13 años. Translation: I'm a model boy, dancer, and singer.
Yeah, like the translation there seems weird because they do use Nino in there. So I was like, what model boy? I never heard model boy before, but is that just how they refer to themselves for a model? So like whatever the word for model is plus Nino would be a female model or a model girl, I guess. I wouldn't know. I don't know the culture with that, but is that just what they call themselves for uh, models? Just insert word for model plus Nino or Nina?
I am 13 years old. This alone is incredibly bizarre.
Also, do you see that he said 13, even though he's supposed to be 18, though he looks like he's 30 plus?
Why would Jesse, an 18-year-old at the time of his disappearance, have an account claiming to be a 13-year-old child? The accompanying tweets only add to the strangeness. One post featured a picture of a young boy, who was clearly not Jesse, alongside the caption, "My new picture. I'm handsome." Then there are also videos on this account.
As I was editing this, I also found another Twitter account, made in 2020.
Featuring what appears to be an adult Jesse dancing in minimal clothing. The fact that this account was operating after Jesse's disappearance raises major red flags. Either he was never actually missing, or someone else was using his identity to fake his online presence in a very bizarre fashion. Alongside the Twitter page, 2 YouTube channels linked to Jesse were also discovered. Most of the content consists of low-quality music videos, but some are...
Is this even him? I mean, that looks like a skinny guy. Is this what 110 pounds look like? Because is it up to like 110 or as low as 110? And is he actually 5'5"? Like the shorter you are, the skinnier you have to be to hit. Actually no, it's the other way around. The shorter you are, less you need. I don't know. Yeah, is this guy? I mean, he's covering his eyes and it looks like he's wearing a wig, so it's hard to tell the face, but the face does look like look older.
far
Like
more
an adult.
disturbing. Those videos are slideshows of young boys, interspliced with images of a grown man. This video, for example, is titled, "The Little Guy from Central America, the Reggaeton Boy."
Yes, that definitely is probably the guy. So you got bags under the eyes, or rolls, whatever you want to call them. And of course the cheekbones as well.
And shows that
The
same
wrinkles.
man role-playing as a child, dressed in shorts and a Minions t-shirt. Those images are intercut with photos of an unidentified young boy.
Now you can see earlier that there's like actual children on some of these.
Though some think this is all the work of a delusional fantasist who enjoys pretending to be a child and uses the photos of random boys to help create that illusion, there is a much darker possibility. That these videos are coded advertisements, calling cards that let other predators know the channel owner has illicit content to trade, possibly featuring the unknown boys in the videos.
Again, we're just making that assumption, but of course that could be it, who knows?
Now, if you aren't convinced that this man is the same person as featured on Jesse's missing person profiles, then these images, taken from videos on those same YouTube channels, should convince you.
Okay, well, let's roll back a second, because there's some information
Then
there,
these images,
right here, in the back. You can see there is 2 bicycles, what you would assume, typically to be a boy and a girl bike. And they have training wheels, at least the boy one does. We can't see if the girl-coded one does. There's a scooter back there too, but you could argue that they're his, but typically that would imply that there's children here.
taken from videos on those same
Also, we're past the point where I left off, so this is everything already is new.
YouTube channels, should convince you.
That we can't see the other bike, and not that it matters if it has training wheels, but still, those are children's bikes, and there's a scooter. Like, we can roll back again. Like, there's a scooter here behind the fence.
From videos on those same YouTube channels, should convince you. These photos are clearly of the same individual, wearing the exact same t-shirt and necklace, standing in what appears to be the exact same location. And if that wasn't enough, browsing through the past activity of one of these accounts, the thumbnail for one of the liked videos stands out. It seems likely that Jesse is just another of this man's aliases. To cover the last of his profiles, in 2021, comments left on the Iowa Cold Case website mentioned that 2 SoundCloud accounts under the names Adekse Now Giovanni Namajapol and Junior Giovanni Paul were both still active and allegedly contained CP.
Okay, you just saying that out of nowhere?
Their bios read, "I'm a child. My parents don't support me, and I sing and dance."
Oh yeah, I don't remember if he has a warning at the beginning of these videos, other than just his little intro. No, it's just the intro rolling straight into the ad. Was there viewer discretion anywhere? Well, now you know, viewer discretion again, like, we're getting deep in it now. It was basically nothing really happening too much until now. Now we are in the deep end.
If this case wasn't already unsettling enough, here's where things get even more disturbing. In 2018, just 1 year after Jesse's disappearance, a 38-year-old man named Pedro Namajapol was arrested in San Antonio, Texas.
What? That is very specific. I mentioned yesterday, I live in Texas, and not the docks, but even further, I'm in San Antonio, which, just by the way, something happened apparently in San Antonio that was messed up, unfortunately, which you can argue is in the wheelhouse of After Dark stuff. The actor for John Redcorn, which if you don't know, from King of the Hill, that old television show, which is going to start airing again. They're going to reboot it, like, what, 10, 15 years in the future? That's coming back on Hulu, question mark? Yeah, he used to be in that show. He was apparently shot and killed recently in San Antonio, Texas, I think, because it would make sense since that show is about Texas. So having some of the actors actually be from Texas would make sense. But he was actually shot here recently, so oof. A rip for that actor. I think his name actually is John. I'm not sure what his name is though, but he was John Redcorn in the show. So yeah, that's rough. But again, like two San Antonio drops in 1 day, because I learned about that 2 day. Technically yesterday, but I'm still awake since then. So I learned about it what I would refer to as a waking period. And now we have another name drop on San Antonio again. Like, hello? Coincidence? That's weird. Yeah. Rip to John.
On the charge of uploading CP material to Instagram.
Okay, you can't just say that after we were just talking about. We were just having a conversation. You just drop that out of nowhere.
Looking at Pedro's mugshot, it's...
I mean, that is, yeah, no, that's probably the same person, just a bit weathered, more weathered. You got the cheekbones, the eyes. I mean, the hair flops over the forehead, so you can't really tell. But the main thing is this here, because his chin lifts up here on the right side of his face. And it's doing the same thing here on the right side of his face. Same thing. It's being lifted up. His mouth is like spread further out here, but again, that he was saying there's might be filters being applied here, so maybe there's filters on this, but his mouth still, yeah, like this is going up to the right, on the right side of his face, and this is kind of smearing this way, and it's doing the same thing there. Like the shape of this is pointing that way. Nose, we can't really tell because it's blown out, it's overexposed in this photo. Yeah, I mean, you could argue this is the same man. They have the same, like, a minor facial features. Chin, mouth, cheeks.
It's nearly identical to Jesse's missing person photo.
Again, he's just more weathered. And the neck even has more muscle on it, so maybe he's more weathered and more muscle built.
The facial structure, the cheekbone shadows, the eyebrows. Everything matches. Some speculate that Pedro may be Jesse's father, or other relative. But personally, I think this man is Jesse, and that Pedro was yet another alias. Adding to the mystery, a Reddit user discovered that one of Jesse's other fake identities, Daryl Jamal Brown, was the name of a real person. A man who had died at 24 years old in Texas in 2016.
Another Texan? We're still in
That
Texas.
suggests that Jesse may have been using the stolen identities of deceased individuals to obscure his true background. How he came to get his hands on their IDs, though, remains unknown. If Jesse and Pedro are indeed the same person, which I'm sure they are, it's clear that his 2018 arrest didn't put an end to his activities. After all, he continued posting online under various accounts for years afterwards. There is evidence that suggests he fled back to Central America, likely El Salvador, to escape legal consequences in the US. Given that his known accounts went silent after 2021, it's possible he was eventually caught and imprisoned, or was otherwise silenced by the family of one of his victims. But for all we know,
I mean, just making wild speculation there.
he simply learned to be more secretive when it came to advertising his twisted hobby with the world. The case of Jesse Giovanni Namajapol, or whatever his real name is one of the most perplexing missing person cases in recent history. The bizarre classification of his disappearance, his extensive use of fake identities, and his continued presence online long after he was declared missing all point to a much larger story than what's publicly known. As of today, the authorities still have him listed as an involuntary missing 18-year-old on official
Which doesn't make sense because you literally arrested him after he was missing and yet he's still being considered missing, so oof.
databases. Question is, why? Was Jesse ever a missing person? Or was he deliberately trying to disappear? And if he was eventually imprisoned, why is there no public record of that? Most importantly, is he still out there, hiding behind yet another identity, while continuing to upload sick material to the internet?
Do we really have proof of him doing that? Or is it just speculation? I know he said he was caught doing that, maybe? But I feel like he would be in prison forever if he actually did that.
I sincerely hope that this mystery gets resolved.
The Suki Project. So, what do you mean by Suki? Like Moon? The Moon Project?
In January 2017, a series of posts began appearing on various 4chan boards, such as R9.
I'll read it because I'm pretty sure he's not going to. I've had it for at least 12 years now. It's grown on me. The whole omniverse system space consists of systems, all like different realities. However, due to system space being as open as it is, a system called life, the one we are in, is chronically using too much energy, Aurora. As Aurora is about to run out, it'll run out on August 28th. This was 2017, so that did not happen. Me and my team, Suki, consisting of the companies Risen, Endymion, Key, and Synapse, are going to reboot System Space into System Space 2 Rewrite to make it more optimized for all systems, but life, and another broken system, has to be sacrificed in the process. As such, while destroying life, I need to get out. To other humans in the life system, this will seem like suicide. This will take place on the 1st of July 2017. Okay, so I didn't know if they were talking about an actual system or if they were literally talking about life. And they were talking about that. So yeah, life and then Aurora as energy, blah, 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 blah. I think if these are children, was it 12 years? Are you children? Because you're using the term Suki, so I feel like you watch too much anime, therefore are a child. Not that I'm one to talk. I've been watching a lot of anime since 2012. Don't worry, if all goes correctly, none of you would notice, as your clients would be updated and will improvise, as per guideline 6G, the rest of your experience in life. New people born after this date will no longer have a soul, as they too are improvised. From that point on, as soon as you die, you'll be kicked out of life, and your client will update to System Space 2, Humanity will no longer make improvements as Aurora required will not exist. Failing the mission will result in spontaneous disconnect for all users across all systems. I'd rather fulfill this mission than lose my world and the people in them. Luckily, all wards here are full. If they weren't, they definitely have sent me ASAP. The closest open space was in Amsterdam, on this other side of the country for me. I mean, that is a lot to unpack, honestly. Because it's written in a way that no matter what, that you can't say it's not real, because if they delete themselves, and we're all still around, like, it self-fulfills, right? They said they're going to leave, they're going to off themselves to save everybody, and everybody's still around after 2017, so it's hard to argue that, oh wait, maybe he actually did something, so I don't know.
And subreddits like maladaptive dreaming.
Oh, what is this? My daydream tells me to die before 28th of August. The entire world, system space, consists of different dimensions, coded by people. We are currently in the system life. The system life was abandoned by its owner. It is now using way too much energy, Aurora. Due to how open space system space is, there's no way to kick out systems. Usually a key is sent that checks the system for good memories and reboots the system otherwise. This doesn't work on life. We have to reboot system space now with a ban ability. Add the same soul as the key I have to suicide to initialize destruction of life. If I do this after August 28th, the chances of succeeding plummet. I don't want to lose the friends and relationships I made in my daydream world. At this point, it's becoming hard for me to even tell the difference. My daydream world is telling me it's real, and even giving believable real-world examples. I want to give in and believe it. Feel the bliss. Ask me anything? Is that what AMA we're using right there?
All created by an enigmatic user who went by the name Suki.
And we have... Is this actually their freaking avatar? Isn't this Lain from Serial Experiments Lain, which is kind of... Yeah, I don't know if it actually gets into stuff like what this guy's talking about. Interesting concept that he's talking about, at the very least. I'm trying to get the thing to see me again. That's why I'm moving around so much. Yeah, isn't Serial Experiments Lain similar to what's being spoken here? Not necessarily similar, but in the same wheelhouse. I tried to watch it like a decade plus ago, and I couldn't get through it too much. So I need to watch it, like actually watch the entire thing at some point, because I probably would actually really like it. I just stopped watching it for whatever reason back in the day, like over a decade ago. I couldn't even tell you what the first few episodes that I did watch were about, because I can't remember.
Supposedly a 16-year-old male from the Netherlands.
Yeah, well, again, this sounds like child delusions, so... And again, the name's Suki. They watch too much Serial Experiments Lain, if that is their icon. Again, they literally watched Lain and took it too far.
Suki explained how he had a second world in his head, and detailed how the universe actually consists of numerous coded dimensions, which all exist within an omniverse called system space. Moreover, he relayed how humanity exists within a system called life, which is due to go offline, and that those who don't take steps to protect their souls are essentially doomed to go down with it. As the human representative of the conglomerate that was set to destroy the life system, he and he alone had been created to teach internet users how they could go about saving themselves. He called this the Suki Project. Though it was unclear whether this was just an elaborate...
Again, Lain icon. Okay, so they just drank the Lain sauce too much. Too much Lain Koolaid, and they just went straight to the head.
Thought experiment, or something Suki honestly believed. Other users began showering his...
Should I have read that? The system is about to be purged. You are currently in one of many systems. Your system is called Life, but there are many more in existence. This construct called system space runs on a type of energy called Aurora. A limited amount of it. Because of this, we managed to have the system use Aura and ensure it is used correctly. Incorrectly, they reset the system. Unfortunately, the life system Since unable to improve, regardless of the number of resets it undergoes, due to the openness of system space, we are forced to edit system space in order to correct our path. As a result of this process, life will be unlikely unlinked and purged. Immediately following this, activity within life will continue as normal. However, new bodies will no longer have souls, and the souls of bodies that die without having registered with soul shatter as their soul is subsequently an impossible soul structure. Souls have registered will be moved after death to the LFE system. After 150 years of severance, life will be completely purged. 150 years of severance, so we still have a long time, like, what, 2167?
Thought experiment, or something Suki honestly believed. Other users began showering his posts with attention.
What makes the real world real, and why should we put up with this real world? And then something's scratched out. Long story short, the construction contract systems consists of many systems, and you are currently in system life. Due to life using too much aura, life will be on blah blah blah. Just keep saying thing. You to sign in, you'll be transported to that after death. Do not sign in. Continue to the life. Once you die in life, your soul will shatter, causing you to lose all data, personality memories, and get put into a random system. Please write the code, blah blah blah. On a piece of paper.
Prompting the young prophet to set up a website dedicated to his project, systemspace.link. It's since been shut down, but entering the URL into the Wayback Machine, we can see exactly how it used to look. The main page is
Unlink the world, unlock the rest. I mean, the cool concept. I'm like all about this sort of kind of concept, so I'm all about it. But again, I think this kid drank too much of the serial experiments Lain Koolaid.
Genuinely quite impressive, and the site itself very well coded. From the art, it's clear that Suki was heavily inspired not just by the concepts, but also by the aesthetics of Serial Experiments Lain.
Yeah.
An anime which features a virtual realm called the Wired, which humans can enter by uploading their minds and abandoning their physical selves. Perhaps the thing that jumps out most though, is this section, which states the number of registrants above an ominous timer. One that was chronicling the days left until July 1st, 2017. Scrolling down a little further, we can read Suki's mission statement, where he outlined exactly what was set to happen on that date. You are currently in one of many systems. Your system is called Life, but there are many more in existence.
I think it's just reading the thing that we already read earlier.
This construct, called system space, runs on a type of energy called aurora. There is only a limited amount of aurora available to system space. Because of this, we must manage how the systems use aurora and ensure it's being used correctly. If the aurora is used incorrectly, then we reset the system. Unfortunately, the life system seems unable to improve, regardless of the number of resets it undergoes. Due to the openness of system space, we're forced to edit system space in order to correct our path. As a result of this process, life will be unlinked and purged.
Yeah, like I mentioned this before, if you don't know how to fast forward without doing anything, just hold left click on a window. I don't know about on phones, maybe if you just hold the screen with your finger, it'll do it, but yeah, just click on the screen and hold it, and it'll 2 times speed.
Immediately following this, activity within life will continue as normal. However, new bodies will no longer have souls, and the souls of bodies that die without having registered will soul shatter. Souls that have registered will be moved after death to the LFE system. After 150 years of severance, life will be completely purged. To register, users had to submit a handwritten code and a drawing, which Suki would then use to link their souls to the new system. He claimed that by registering, users, referred to as migrants, would transition from the current system, Life, to the new system, LFE, upon their death. Anyone who did register before the July 1st deadline and later died from old age or other causes would ascend to the new LFE utopia. Their consciousness would be implanted into a new body, and they'd be able to continue living in a larger and more advanced reality. A place where, and I quote, everyone matters. Those who failed to register or died before the unlink date would not be able to migrate, and would instead have their souls shatter upon death.
You left out the part where it just says that you get put into a random system. It's not from what I've read, it's not just, oh, you cease to exist. It's your soul gets shattered, and then you move to a random system. So you're not guaranteed to get added to LFE when this happens. That's what was said. basically.
Within months, thousands had signed up, mostly fans of Lain and digital escapism, though no doubt a few were just lonely people seeking a community and somewhere to belong. Led by Suki, this new community forged an extensive compendium that detailed all the lore of System Space. Reading through it, the adoption of Lain as the project mascot was an ironic choice. The anime, which I highly recommend, warned viewers of the risks of being chronically online, and now its main character was being used as the symbol of a group dedicated to detaching from reality.
I mean, like, isn't that just how Lain usually goes? Anyone who's using a Lain icon or obsessed with Lain is kind of like, again, they drank too much of the sauce and they don't understand what they actually watched.
The Suki project gained widespread attention after being featured in various YouTube videos and discussed on multiple platforms. Inevitably, theories began to spread regarding its purpose. On the surface, the whole project was nothing more than a harmless ARG. The more cynical thought it was a marketing stunt for a new game or TV series, with the timer counting down to its release. Some called it a scam, seeing how Suki happily accepted Bitcoin donations to buy storage space in the LFE, and made several $1,000s doing so.
Why would you need Bitcoin for a place that is detached from this place? Is Bitcoin an LFE?
But the darkest theory that started circulating.
What is it? It's real. I mean, we assume this kid and his friends are dead.
Was that this was a death cult.
I mean, they said they were gonna. That first thing said they were gonna delete themselves to fix life. So
that Suki was encouraging his followers to end their playthrough after the countdown expired, in order to respawn in the LFE system sooner, rather than waiting for their bodies in this system to wither and give out naturally. After all, why take the risk, when, according to Suki himself, developing dementia or brain damage would result in your memories not transferring to the LFE system with you? Indeed, some members on the site's forum began discussing their desire to self-disconnect after the unlink date, July 1st. Suki's defenders highlighted a disclaimer that he added to the website's main page, in which he reminded registrants that they didn't have to transfer immediately, and urged them to live out their natural lives. But his critics accuse him of preying on the mentally vulnerable, intentionally recruiting new members from subreddits like Maladaptive Dreaming, whose users are self-professed excessive fantasists, and sucking said individuals into his own daydream reality. And though on the one hand, he was telling them to stay alive and collect knowledge for their next life, on the other, he'd leave messages like, "I don't want to force you to keep going through life, and if you really wish to die, we won't stop you. If you choose to, let me know beforehand so I can open the ports early." He also told anyone that was planning on transferring early
now the freaking Lain spamming
to erase their hard drives and destroy anything that linked their deaths to the project.
Why? Don't you want as many people to go as possible? Would you leave your world behind for a better one? The old world will cease to exist, and the new one will have many people that love you. Big team will help you make the switch you cannot return. Does the new world have hot traps for me to cuddle with, though? In 2017, were traps a thing? We have someone gooning here, but not to have to use that phrase, because I don't typically use it. I don't know if I've ever spoken that word out loud. Well, I've never spoken it out loud. I don't know if I've actually even written it down before either, but that's just what the kids are saying nowadays. I guess they were a thing back then, 2017. Maybe they were like popular enough, like it was just getting really popular. The new world is way farther advanced. It has magic, technology, etc. It also has a lot larger. I mean, it is also a lot larger. I'm sure there's many traps out there. Do you even know what he's talking about is the problem? I mean, because it's not like actual traps, right? If you don't know what a trap is, it's just a boy that looks like a girl. Femboy. Before they were calling them femboys. But even, I'd argue that femboy is a lesser version of a trap. Because a trap like is indistinguishable from a female outside of the fact that they're male. So this child even know what that meant? Assuming this, we are saying this person's a child. Slash, they shouldn't even be knowing what that means in the first place. Neither should this person, probably, because they're probably a kid too.
July 1st, 2017. The unlinked date. Well, it came and went without much fanfare. It seemed as if the users who had expressed a desire to transfer to LFE ASAP were simply making dark jokes or LARPing. Some members allegedly passed away following the transfer date, sure.
I mean, but you can't prove that unless they have that written down somewhere, so...
But there was nothing in the way of evidence to link their deaths to system space.
Like I said.
But that would soon change.
Oh?
On July 13th, 17-year-old
Jake
Fair went missing from his home in West Kelowna, Canada. Not having social media accounts or a mobile phone, his family had no way to get in contact with him.
How was he so deep into the Koolaid of this Lain conspiracy if he had no social media or anything?
When investigators arrived to examine his room for evidence, they discovered that Jake had both erased his computer hard drive and left a
Okay, so he did have a computer and he did exactly what they told him to do.
handwritten note on his bedroom table. One with 3 letters written on it.
LFE?
LFE. 1 month later, on August 12th, Canadian authorities discovered Jake's body in a wooded area near McDougall Creek. Foul play was ruled out. If the note didn't give it away, it's since been confirmed that Jake was an active member of the Suki Project. His own mother would later share a video that talked about system space and how it related to her son's death. The degree to which the Suki Project influenced
A supposedly leaked email sent by Suki to an anonymous source.
Jake's decision to do what he did is of course unknown. Was it the main factor? Probably not. But did it encourage him to go through with a pre-existing plan? Quite possibly. I think at best, Suki created an ARG with some very irresponsible wording, and things got out of hand.
Did 16, 17-year-olds know about what ARGs in 2017? I don't know when ARGs really became a thing. I mean, I guess you could say Marble Hornets was almost like an ARG. That's pretty early, right? That was in the 2010 somewhere. I want to say 2013, but maybe even before that. Marble Hornets, if you know what Marble Hornets is like what I take as like the origin of Slender Man, but I think it started before then a creepypasta, but like Marble Hornets is like the true beginning for me for Slender Man, so I feel like that was kind of ARG, so...
Whether you think he should be held responsible for what happened to Jake or not, he never publicly acknowledged that his project could have pushed his most vulnerable members over the edge.
Isn't he dead? He said he was going to delete.
Some of you may remember a 2019 video uploaded by Scare Theatre, in which he discussed the Suki Project.
Who is this? I don't remember that because I don't know who this is. I guess we're going to have to check this guy out. Maybe add him to the rotation. Also, check your notifications, Lazy. I see that. You got 6 there. Pay those people some respect, please.
Unfortunately, Suki and or his followers went so far as to threaten Scare Theatre into taking that video down. In a later upload, Scare Theatre was able to uncover what he believes to be Suki's real identity using publicly available information.
You gonna read this?
In response, Suki contacted the Fair family and attempted to manipulate them into having the video removed.
Okay, roll me back. Attention! Suki filed a false privacy complaint against this video, despite all of the information I included in it being public information that he had already put out. Just to be on the safe side, I had to cut out a very significant portion of the identity bit of the video. I'm currently working with YouTube to resolve this, and hopefully they will allow me to restore that part of the video. Thanks for your support, everyone. And he made that video in 2019, he said? So, Suki's still alive 2 years later? Not deleting, not living it out in LFE?
Suki contacted the Fair family and attempted to manipulate them into having the video removed, going so far as to call his sister. Beyond this, Suki has a history of doxing and threatening people, and I wouldn't be surprised if he uses those tactics to silence those who allege any connection between himself, the project, and any deaths that may be linked to it. A CBC show featuring Jake Fair's sister has also mysteriously been wiped from the internet, fueling speculation about whether Suki was involved in its removal. Still, his repeated attempts to cover his tracks seem to have had the Streisand effect. Though archives of it still exist.
What is this warning? By continuing to visit systemspace.network, you acknowledge and agree to the following. This site hosts an archive of content solely for the informational and historical purposes. The original site is no longer operational, has been offline for an extended period of time. I think it's just a normal wording that you'd get for this. Like is this like Wayback's Machine, etc.?
The System Space website is no more. A whole drama unfolded on the project's Discord server when it became clear the concept had been plagiarized from the visual novel Rewrite.
Wait, I mean, it's not even an original idea. We've gone even further down the rabbit hole where it's not just you drinking the cereal Koolaid. It's you're also just plagiarizing a story. Completely.
And Natsuki was scamming and doxing his users, and as a result, the site imploded. But if you...
What way to do a buzzkill on this kind of sick story that they're brewing. It was all just potentially a big scam, but he's about to say something, I'm guessing. What are you going to say?
Visit systemspace.net today. You'll find this cryptic video.
What's that?
Could this be a hint at the project's revival? Only time will tell.
There's Lain. One of them looked like that was Ghost in the Shell, but I'm not sure. Bitcoin in the eyes, really? But yeah, again, sick story. Again, with that whole simulation stuff, because I have interest in that kind of thing, of the world being fake and all that nonsense and whatnot. Because I mean, you never know, it could be. But for it to just be, oh yeah, not only is it just, again, drinking the cereal Kool-Aid, but also it's just a story that already existed in a book. So oof. That book's probably sick though. Nice day, fine day.org. Can't trust a title like that. That hyperlink is not okay. Well, it's .org. Isn't that a professional government / etc. kind of extension at the end, or whatever that's called? Instead of using .com and .org, usually it's public stuff or government stuff or whatnot. I say government stuff, but I don't know what to describe it, because the first thing that comes to mind is kids stuff, yada 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 kidsthing.org. So I don't know.
Certain images have the uncanny power to linger in our minds for weeks, months, even decades, especially when seen at the right moment, in the right context. For some, it's a scene from a horror movie that they saw far too young. For others, it's a moment from a video game, a clip from a shock site, or a disturbing...
Oh my god, we talked about this before.
For others, it's a moment from a video game, a clip from a...
Yeah. Rotten.com. I mentioned this... When did I mention this? In the first Crowley video? So the first episode of After Dark Reactions. Again, I avoided this website as a kid somehow. But again, my dad did visit the site, I think often. Not often enough, but I'm pretty sure he was on it a few times at least. Pure evil since 96. Oof. When hell is full, the dead will walk the earth. Which, that's a famous phrase. Rotten.com. I didn't know it looked like this. Just like a red skeleton thing. Corpse. I thought it would look way different than this, but again, this was a long time ago.
Shock site, or a disturbing, real-life photo. But for a lot of Japanese internet users in the mid-2000s, it was this. Let me explain.
Okay. What are we looking at? This is the image on the thumbnail for this video, which I feel like I can't use because it's just nothing. But it looks like something coddling something, like a black object coddling. Because you can see this is an arm. That's the thumb, right? So the other arm's coming around. So it's something hugging something. I don't know what to make out of that. I don't know if this image is going to be any clearer or not. I wish he does clear it up so we can have some context for our thumbnail.
Recently, rumors have begun to surface of a surreal Japanese website said to have been popular about 20 years ago, one that supposedly cursed its visitors. The website was said to consist mostly of a white screen with ominous text, meant at its core an optic hazard, an image so haunting that once seen could leave viewers psychologically damaged.
I used the term optic hazard last time. It's on the thumbnail for the last video, but sure it's not a cognito hazard and not just optic. Like, I feel like just say cognito.
One anonymous poster asked on Yahoo Answers, "Did this site really exist? I'm talking about that cursed website that's been discussed recently and has become something of an urban legend. According to what I heard, it contains a picture of a Tory gate. If you see that image and don't find and visit that same Tory gate in real life, a terrible misfortune will befall you."
Okay, so that's on the very 2005, like early Wild West of the internet. Kind of like chain letters. What were they called back in the day? The chain letter. Get a mail or email that if you do not send this letter to another X amount of people, you'll be given misfortune or die or etc. Just like 7 day. And that was the ring. It's similar to the ring. Like, if you don't do this in 7 days, you're gonna die, or you will die in 7 days unless you show someone else the tape, right? I don't remember how that ended, because like, doesn't that guy end up dying even though he shares it?
The website in question,
The American version,
first gained notoriety in the shadowy corners of the internet, spreading across 2chan in the form of a chain letter.
Oh, chain letter. I just said chain letter. Also, Masquerade, you used this stock image last time. You literally used this last time. This Mickey freak. In his last video.
This would be lured in by what seemed like an innocent feel-good story, only to find themselves clicking on a link that led to a disturbing site. But these days, you don't need to bait and switch people into visiting cursed media. Modern-day internet sleuths will seek things like that out themselves. The problem? None of them knew where to look. According to the urban legend, the site's URL periodically changes, as if the admin is trying to hide it from prying eyes. What makes that unsettling is that the site's creator is rumoured to have already died. Still, thanks to the wonders of the Wayback Machine, all we need
so it just keeps changing because of the creator, but the creator's dead, so his ghost is doing it.
To do is get our hands on one of those URLs. Searching through the old Japanese forum, Rocket BBS, fellow YouTubers Tara A. Devlin and Adam New discovered a bulletin board where users were discussing the horror game Siren, a cult classic from the PlayStation 2 era. But noticeably, one conversation branched off to talk about a different subject. On August 2nd, 2005, a user named Asuka made a thread titled, "I have a headache," and dropped what's believed to be the first known reference to our elusive site. This site makes no sense. I don't know what the intention was, but it makes me feel uneasy when I look at it. It may be okay for people who don't mind Siren. It might be a virus, but could someone please tell me what kind of site this is? niceday.findday.org. Responses flooded in almost immediately. "It's so disgusting. I feel like I'm going crazy. Even if you're okay with Siren, this site is not good for you. If you enter, you may regret it for the rest of your life."
Is it just rotten? Just another rotten.com website? I mean, back then, I would assume the tolerance was low. Because now, we're just absorbing so much horrific stuff. If not just from movies and video games, right? So, 20 years ago, I feel like you weren't seeing that much bad stuff. I mean, you had The Thing back in... That's 70s or 80s? You had The Thing, I think it's 80s. You had The Thing, right? But The Thing actually flopped because it was so horrific. It was too horrific for the modern audience at the time. But now that's like it's whatever. It's actually cool. That's sick. That movie's sick. But uh, I think now we're just too desensitized to such things. So what did they see back then? That would be like really messed up. I think the tolerances were extremely low, believe it or not, back then. Even though it was a wild west and people were searching stuff for stuff like that, the average person's tolerance was like basically zero.
Well, it's a top-of-the-line creepy site. But what's its purpose? I'll look into it more thoroughly. I need mental strength. Yeah, I feel like I'm cursed. From what I've seen so far, it's one of the most dangerous sites. Ah, I remember. Apparently the administrator of that site was bullied in the past, so he started cursing people and making it public in that way. By the way, the people whose names are written in red in the Mabo page have already passed away. I don't know how true or false that is, but I think that's what happens. That's crazy. The same name as me was on that list. I feel really bad. It's too much.
Okay, so we got some lore for this now.
The conversation continued, with most users focusing on the so-called Mabo page hosted on the site. In this case, it was said to contain the names of those who had been cursed. Other responders mentioned that they had found a website with a similar URL, which contained photos of real dead bodies, and speculated whether they may be related to the Mabo list. So, headaches, a death note, instant regret. With so many descriptive warnings, only an idiot would consider peeking behind this curtain. Browsing through the archive pages of nicedayfineday.org, you'll quickly get the sense that you're inside a virtual haunted house. On the homepage, you're greeted by a low-resolution photo of a bloated human face, submerged in water.
What? That's what it's supposed to be? I can't see that. It just looks like someone, again, like I said, coddling someone. I can't see the face, even at this size. Unless it's being blurred.
Scrolling text ominously states, "Behind you." You saw it, right? All the various page options are listed.
The word for dead or die is here.
As die, kill,
Yeah.
curse, cry, shout, struggle, haunt, go insane, and writhe. If you drag your cursor over this section between the head and the links,
Curse?
this hidden text reveals itself.
Yeah, I know the symbol for curse. The kanji for curse.
The bottom of the page contains a long list.
Let's say in the middle. Mitana, or I don't know where this starts and where this begins. Like this? Like we Mitana, or Namita, or Mitana, or Tanami. Yeah, I don't know what's. I don't know which
Every
way is which.
disturbing word you can think of. Madness, murder weapon, stabbing, bludgeoning, burning, drowning, roadkill, phlegm, cirrhosis of the liver, seppuku.
That was so specific. What? Also, when did I get stuck like this? Oh, probably because I know why.
Omens, skewering, mania. It goes on and on.
A dead image.
Above that are several hyperlinks. If you choose to explore further,
Shine, which is specifically telling someone to die. Like they're saying die, 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 die.
you'll find plenty of disturbing nuggets to sink your teeth into. A flashing page where the word die repeats itself over and over again. A section that contains an unplayable flash video.
Yeah,
No one knows whether it originated.
I don't know what that is. I wanted to know. Let's roll back. So I want to see what that kata was.
On and on. Above that.
So yeah, this Otozute. This is the Meibo. That's she, or is it N? She or Su? Zu? Is it? That's Zu, so that's Kotozute. I don't know what this is supposed to say. Or is it you? Utoze? Utozute? Yeah, I don't know.
Are several hyperlinks nuggets to sink your teeth into. A flashing page where the word die repeats itself over and no one knows what it originally showed. But in a
Bunch of red
sense, that
text.
makes it creepier.
I think that's she on its side, so it's just a bunch of death words again.
The bind link is even more unsettling, leading to a warped photo of a human face.
How did you get that to be so sharp? What the heck?
Clicking the image itself leads you to a cryptic wall of senseless text, but a different link on the page will fill your screen with this.
What? Bunch of images. How long is this gonna go on for? Definitely doing the ring thing. But if you believe in cognito hazards, you probably should take your headphones out and close your eyes. He's gonna let the whole thing play? Masquerade, really? You really just gonna let the whole thing play? Forever? Or is he just looping it? Is there anything in there we should be seeing? Are we doing... Wait, why is this still going on? This is going to go on for quite a while. Okay, because there's still a lot more of this to go. Really?
Clicking the fabled
meme.
Mabo link brings
Yeah,
up
so there's a Mabo.
the administrator's personal death note, a list of names in katakana, some written in white, most crossed out in red, indicating that those individuals have already passed away after being cursed by the website.
Oh, what if this site was still actually up? What if like Lazy Masquerade was written here? That would be kind of crazy, wouldn't it? And I'll give the story the benefit of the doubt. Now we'll actually look behind me, because I said earlier to look behind you, right? Did you see it? Which I did not do. I did not look behind me because I don't really care, but I'll do it for the video. I'll look behind me and see if I see anything. Nope. I didn't see anything.
Which brings us to our final Easter egg, hidden on the landing page, behind the submerged figure.
Keep saying that, but I don't.
Year by year,
That's just
a
nothing.
man's head rises little by little from the bottom of the river. Ironically, by clicking on it, you'll only be pulled under.
About the gates.
This is where the Torii gates have been hiding. Beneath the
Jinja.
image of the gates is text which states, "I'm called. Curse, curse, curse. You too." You too, indeed. Because now, if you don't visit this exact location in the real world, your name will end up on the Mabo list. And with hundreds of thousands of Torii gates scattered throughout Japan, your prospects are looking pretty bleak right now.
Could you do this in modern day, or even like back in the day? Like, because obviously games nowadays can like search your computer's name. Is a website able to access your computer's name, and is your name, and how many people actually have like their actual name as their thing? Maybe that was more common back in the day. So I could see a universe where this website is able to access the name of your computer and put your name on the list that way. Which, if that's the case, I mean, this kind of like ring effect that we're having right now, we're watching all this stuff. You can't really be cursed because we're not actually accessing the website from our computer, thus it cannot read our name and thus cannot put it on the list.
And thankfully, you don't need to be an expert geoguesser to save yourself. To demystify this urban legend, these gates have since been identified, and can be found in the Hanazono Jinja, a shrine in Shinjuku,
Yeah, that's what the Jinja is, a shrine.
Tokyo. The site's creator simply sourced this image from the web and posterized it. And in for a penny, in for a pound, the origin of the submerged head image has also been identified. It's a photo of a river ghost, taken from the cover of...
Ah, now I can see it. It just looked like nothing, but yeah, this is the outside of the face, and now the nose and the eyes and the mouth there. I can see it there. I could not see it in that main one anymore. Like that was just like nothing, I'd say.
Igor Gibbor's horror document psychic photo collection. And that head itself? It's probably just a duck swimming in front of a rock.
Ah, I can see that. Again, it just looked like something coddling something.
As for Nice Day Fine Day's creator, reports of his death were greatly exaggerated.
Really, a Megamind reference. He should have at least put like some B-roll Megamind footage here. Really, I mean, he doesn't want to probably put anything that's copyrighted, but still, like, you gotta make a Megamind reference without putting Megamind on the screen.
And in 2023, he responded to an article written by the Suburo. According to him, the site contained a script that attempted to display the visitor's computer username on the Meibo.
I was close. Oh, it actually. I'm looking over at myself right now. It actually worked out right because I was like, oh yeah, I'm close. I'm being smug. That kind of worked out because I was saying, could the computer access your username could the website access the usernames? Jesus, oh my God, get it together. Could the website access your computer's username, which a lot of video games do, right? So could this website do the same thing? So it looks like it did something similar to what I was saying it was going to do.
Page, creating the illusion that their name had been put on the death list. A fun gimmick which apparently hardly ever worked. He also said that back in its original state, the website had a lot more creepy details that have since been lost. The white background was formerly filled with the image of a Jizo statue. Some sections of the site had ominous music playing, and if you looked at the image of the Torii gates for too long, an onake would fly out and jump scare you. As for that rumor that the URL changed multiple times, well, that one was partially true. An earlier version of the website did exist in 2003 under a different URL. In the creator's words, I originally made the site on Magic Island, but it seems to have been reported by someone and deleted. So I rented another server, and the old site, Nice Day, became Nice Day Fine Day. Rumors of it continuously changing URLs likely began after the domain expired. Unfortunately, Nice Day Fine Day is no more, but it's a great hidden gem from a simpler internet era that, thankfully, has been partially preserved. As I saw one comment put it, it's a cursed website that now exists as a ghost in the Wayback Machine. Originally, it was created to scare people who stumbled upon it, but as time passed, its use of Flash turned it into a time capsule of sorts, a relic of times gone by.
I think Flash is like completely dead. It's been dead for a long time, and nothing can use Flash anymore.
And now, instead of being scary, it's almost a nostalgic reminder of the past, something its creator likely never anticipated. So now that you know it was all just a bit of fun, you can sleep safe in the knowledge that you don't need to book a flight to Japan to lift the curse. And given today's airfare prices, that might just be the greatest horror of all.
Yeah, I was gonna say, isn't A Nice Day Fine Day a song? Which I've heard it in the SCP stuff too. Like, if you watch that one cartoon, I don't know what it's called. There's an SCP cartoon with this guy who can't die, who just revives over and over again. There's Nice Day Fine Day is sung in that thing, and it like turns you into a plant, right? That song. Like, I don't know if that's actually the SCP song that's the song that's supposed to do it, like for real in SCP lore. But I wish I would have mentioned it before he played the song, because he's playing the song right now. If you didn't catch that, he's playing Nice Day Fine Day song, just distorted. Yeah. Like, oof. I wish I would have mentioned that, because I had been thinking it since I saw the name Nice Day Fine Day. I was like, yeah, that's that song, right? And we were just getting the credits.
Hey guys, Lizzie here, and thank you very much for listening.
What's
I'd like to say a huge thank you to all of my supporters here on YouTube. And
it almost sounded like you said Lizzie here. But yeah, that was that actually got pretty good. This first story is whatever, if you want my honest opinion. That was nothing. The Suki project, however, That was in a wheelhouse of stuff that I like. Too bad it was just a potential scam. And this guy is still alive. You're supposed to be deleted, living your life out in LFE, but you're still around, I'm pretty sure. So oof on that. And then this was sick too. Because this kind of creepy stuff is cool as well. I might have to find like a thumbnail from this section though. I can't use his own thumbnail that he used because it does not match at all. I mean, not that it just match. It's just like literally nothing. Like that image is just. This is like literally nothing. I can see the face now. Now I see it. Now that I've seen it once, I now see like there's eyes, the mouth, or the nose. The mouth is probably there. The hair, like all the black is the hair. Like now I see it, but the average person is not going to see that. So I need a maybe something from here. Oh, that's a pretty good one. Like I would have to like get like a decent Yeah, I want this one. That's a good one. I'm gonna have to screenshot that. But yeah, guys. Yeah, that was a good video this time around. This one was. What happened in the last masquerading video? I don't even remember. So I was gonna say this one is better than the last one, but that's only because I don't remember the last one. So oof. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Remember to buy my stickers, think about becoming a member, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, whether you want watch time and subscribers, and if we have a thumbnail as well. And shout out to the members, EmmyStarr and RaleyDrew. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Tune to the next episode. Like, subscribe, comment. You know what to do. See ya.